Hello, hello, hello. Good morning to you all. I'm just here chit-chatting and just bear with me one second. When you're on, we're always on social media and we are just chit-chatting right away and Yes, good morning to you all. Good morning and welcome to the Sunrise Show. This is your boy Marvin Fishley and I'm your host. Well, as you all know that the Sunrise Show provides prolific and development platforms for rising contributors and stars from all parts of the world. We talk about things that affect our day-to-day living, including recognizing the positive and robust work that these specific individuals have towards the socioeconomic needs and ways to continuously advance dreams, goals, aspirations, including raising the confidence of teams and individuals both on a national and local and even global level. Good morning to those of you who are just joining and watching right now. I trust and hope that you had a superb weekend. For me, it was really good here in London. Guess what? Yesterday it was quite sunny. It was a sunny Sunday. And oh boy, I enjoyed every bit of my day yesterday. Amidst the turmoils that, we all go through and we all face in life, I can guarantee you and I can tell you this, that yesterday for me was a pleasant one. And I'm looking forward in having a superb and a wonderful, a phenomenal and a productive week. And I'm wishing you the very same. But I trust and hope that as you join me right now on the Sunrise Show here at Amaze TV, I trust and hope that this morning show will inspire you, will motivate you and challenge you. So guess what? Keep it locked. It's about to go down. Today with me in studio is a young lady who she is a multifaceted, I can say. But you know what? She have a story, and I want you to hear this story. I want you to welcome to the Sunrise Show and to the Amaze TV studio no other person than Claudine Martin. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Finally.
Finally.
How has been your weekend? How was the weekend?
Weekend was great. It was my son's birthday. So we went to Thorpe Park. It was amazing.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's 15.
15. And we want to say shout out to Claudine's son, Shazim. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday, Shazim. Trust and hope that as you grow from strength to strength, that God's favor will always be with you and doors will be open to you. Claudine, welcome to the Sunrise Show again. It has been about 2 years.
I know, it's been about 2 years.
2 years.
We haven't seen each
yes,
other.
time fly.
Yes.
But even though we have met through mutual friend of ours, I've never, I could never tell that you have this amazing story that, we're going to get into and share with those who are watching and listening this morning. I don't know the reason why I'm getting a tongue tied there or this morning, I guess because Claudine is in the house and I'm so fascinated and I can't wait to get into the meat of the business. But guys, Claudine is a soldier by profession. She is a member of the British Army and she has been serving the British Army for how long?
14 years now.
14 years. Wow. And she is a sergeant within the Army and she's doing a remarkable work. She's doing a fantastic job. Claudine, tell me just briefly, how did you get into the British Army?
It was never my dream growing up as a child. I've always wanted to be on TV. I've always wanted to be a TV presenter, a television broadcaster. But as you get older, your situation changes.
Right.
And as you start having children, I had my
Yes.
first when I was 21. So
Mm-hmm.
my priority changed. And my priority at the time was to make sure that I've got the right provisions for my child. So back in 2006, I was at home. I had a 6, 7 month old, and I thought I need to do something.
Yes.
I need to do something. And a friend of mine that I went to high school with, I was just having a chat with her, and she was telling me about the army and that she was in the army. And I'm like, how can you be in the army? You're quite girly. And she was like, no, the army isn't like that. And it suddenly sparked my interest.
Yes.
And I thought, definitely, I'm going to join. So I went on the website and I started doing a bit of research. I requested a DVD at the time, and I
Yes.
watched it. And I thought, it's not what I thought. My perception of what I thought the army
Yes.
is completely different. I started training because I got
Yes.
motivated. I'm like, I need to do it. I need to be fit. And I started running and doing a lot of training. I went for the selection and I was successful. And that was from
And that was it, and now
And that
you're a
was it.
sergeant
Yeah.
within the army. Oh, well, fantastic. But guys, this morning it's not about army life. It's not about where she is. It's in the army. It's not about her achievements in the army. We're going to find out more on that, but it is about a situation. I know that a lot of us have heard of this disease quite so often, and we probably sometimes turn a blind eye to it because it may not very well be cancer. It may never very well be HIV, but we're going to talk about lupus. And my guest this morning, Claudine Martin, she suffers from lupus. Claudine, how it all began?
Right. It started back in 2015.
Yes.
As you mentioned before, I'm a soldier. So
Right.
I'm always active. I'm always doing my exercising and just keeping myself fit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember back in the latter half of 2015, I was training.
Yes.
But I find that when I'm running, I was getting very tired.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't understand it. So I thought maybe I've reached the peak of my fitness, because
Yeah.
sometimes we do. That's just the human body. And then I started getting more symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I woke up one day and my lymph nodes at the back of my ear became swollen.
Yes.
So I thought, okay, maybe my body's fighting an infection.
Yes.
So then the ending of 2015, I then relocated, as we do in the army. We
Yes.
do so every often. And I went to my new place of work, and I struggled to adjust to the new place. I was constantly tired. My symptoms got worse. I experienced this fatigue.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter how many rest you get, you will sleep all day and all night.
Yes.
The fatigue it would make a difference to the fatigue. And then gradually, as it goes along, the symptoms started getting more and more. I was experiencing a bit of nausea, loss of appetite. Then I started losing weight. My hair starts falling out. I started getting a bit of joint pain, and I knew something
And at
was
this
wrong.
minute, you didn't know that it was lupus?
No, I didn't. I knew something was wrong. At first I thought, am I just thinking it? Am I losing my mind? And I was saying to my friend, I'm so frustrated. I'm tired. I just want to be back to normal.
Yes.
And I thought, I've had enough now. I'm going to see the doctor. So I went and I saw the doctor.
And then all this time, so walk me through it again. So you started to feel these excruciating pain.
Yes.
Hair loss,
Yes.
joint pains, and you as you said, you thought that it was just the normal everyday routine because you were training
Yes.
constantly in the army, and you probably thought that this is just mere fatigue. How severe was this fatigue? How
The
severe was the
fatigue
pain?
was the worst thing I've experienced. And I think majority of sufferers with lupus will probably agree with me when they say, I'd rather have the pain than the fatigue. Because the pain, you can take medications
Yes.
and manage the pain, but the fatigue, unless you sort out what the underlying issue is, you'll never get rid of the fatigue.
Wow.
And it was so extreme. I'll be at work and we'll be in meetings.
Yes.
And I can't concentrate because I'm just so tired. My concentration isn't there. It was really, really hard.
What about the joint pains? Was it just in probably your knees?
So the joint pain started in the knees at first, then the elbows, the wrist. And I remember it then started with the joint pain,
Yes.
then the muscles. And like what you've said, I thought it's because I was training. So
Yes.
it's just a bit of a delayed action from training.
Wow.
And then I was in work, And I remember the sergeant major said to me, Chief, what's up? You are limping. And I thought, oh, it's just probably from the run I did a couple of days ago.
Yes.
But then it got worse, and other people started noticing it and saying, you probably need to see the doctor. You
So it
are
was
limping.
affecting your mobility.
It was affecting my mobility. That's right. And I was like, I just couldn't understand. I went home. I remember I went home that day, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna put some Radox in the bath, and I'm just gonna lay in the bath for a
Yes.
long while just to relax. I laid in the bath for maybe about an hour, just relaxing, and I thought I need to get out the bath now. I tried getting out the bath and I couldn't.
Yes.
The pain was so, it was this excruciating pain. I was so weak. And I called my son and I said, can you help me out the bath? He came and he couldn't. And then he called my
Wow.
babysitter and both of them helped me out the bath. And I remember that was one of the worst pain I've experienced.
And then after this, you then decided that, you know what, this pain, this fatigue is unbearable, it's too much, it's not the norm. And so you decided to seek medical assistance.
I thought, no, I need to do something about this. It's getting to me now. I have to sort this out.
And you went to see your GP.
And I went to see my GP. And I told her what my symptoms were. And I said to her, I said, it's weird. It feels like early stages of pregnancy. But I said, I know I'm not pregnant.
And because at the time you weren't in a relationship.
I wasn't in a relationship. So she said, what do you think is wrong? I said, I don't know. That's why I'm here. She said, okay, not a problem. We're going to do a blood test. And if it shows any abnormalities, we'll be in touch within a few days. Exactly within 2 days, I got a phone call from her. And she said, I'm sorry, Sergeant Martin, but your blood test results came back abnormal. She explained something about the antibodies in her medical terms.
Yes.
And I was there listening. And she said, my suspicion is that it's lymphoma.
Yes.
To be honest, I did not know what lymphoma was.
Yes.
I didn't know what lymphoma was. And I said to her, what is lymphoma? And she explained to me that lymphoma is a cancer of the lymph
Of the
nodes.
lymph, yes.
Yeah. And I was shocked, but I stayed positive because it was just her suspicion.
Were you thinking about cancer at any point at this stage?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't thinking about cancer. I thought just maybe I need some vitamins
Yes.
at the time. So I was referred to an oncologist.
Yes.
And I had a few follow-up appointments with the oncologist. I did more
But
blood
stick a
tests.
pin, Claudine, because going back to going to the GP, and you did the blood test, and when the GP called you back and say, you know, Chief Claudine, we have seen some abnormalities in your blood. What was going through your mind? What was going through your thoughts?
It was weird because when she said that there were abnormalities and then she told me what her suspicion was, it was the lymphoma. It was scary, but because I'm a very positive person, and
Yes.
I always try to seek for a positive outlook.
Yes.
So even though she had her suspicions, I thought, no, I don't think it's lymphoma. It's just probably something that needs sorting out. And I told a bit of friends, I said, this is what, you know, the doctors are suspecting. And a friend of mine said, no, I don't think.
Tell me about the time when you were at your friend's house and you all went out, and then
Yes.
you came back. They had to bring you back home because
So
you were
a friend
felt
of mine
unwell.
was leaving
Yes.
to a new place of work, and we had some leaving drinks.
Yes.
I wasn't feeling well, but I thought, you know what, I don't want to seem antisocial because
Yes.
maybe they wouldn't understand. So I thought, okay, I'll go. I went and I was sat with them in the bar, but it's like I was there, but I wasn't there because I just felt so ill. It's just this feeling of malaise, the fatigue again, the joint pain. It was really bad. And a friend of mine saw me and she was like, Claudine, that's not you. You don't seem right. I'm going to drive you home.
Yes.
So she took me home to her house, and she left me there and she went back to the party.
Wow.
And I remember that night, I wanted to sleep. I tried sleeping, but it was so hard to settle because my whole body was swollen. My joints were swollen. My muscles were very tender.
And this prevented you from walking and getting up.
I could not move. I sat there and I know I need to go and use the toilet. But I was sitting there for maybe about an hour or two thinking what part of my body I'm going to move first to go to the toilet. Do I move my arm first? Do I move my legs first? do I move my body? How do I turn my head? Because it was so painful.
Mm.
And when I finally got around to it, thinking about it, okay, I'll do this first. I remember that walk to the toilet. The toilet was just beside the bedroom. But I
Wow.
remember that walk to the toilet. It's like it was a marathon getting to
Wow.
the toilet. I went there, I came back, and I went back to bed. I slept. She came in the morning and she came in the room and she said, "Oh my God, you are swollen." I was swollen from face all the way down. And I remember she gave me these strong painkillers. And after the painkillers, maybe about a couple hours after,
You
I
felt
felt so
much
much
better.
better. I was still swollen, but at least I was able to move.
Yes.
And that's when I knew I need to do something about this. Something is not right. I've never experienced this before. Something
Wow.
needs to be done about it.
And then tell me now, so after you have received the result from the doctor, what happened thereafter? Because you went in, they told you that there's abnormalities in your blood.
Yes.
What happened
I
after?
did. So I was referred to an oncologist. I had an appointment in Guildford at the time. I did a full PET scan. That's a full body scan.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And she called me, the hematologist. So it was a hematologist that I
Yes.
was seeing at the time. And she called me and she said, can you come and see me at this date and time? Do you mind bringing someone along with you? And I thought, okay, maybe she just wants me to bring
And
someone
at
along
this
with.
time, Claudine, what was going through your head? Because I know for me, I would be like nervous. I would be like scared. I was fretting
I was very nervous and I was scared, but I was still trying to
to
be
be
hopeful and
positive.
still trying
Yes.
to be positive. I went in, so it was the appointment, the day of the appointment. I took a friend with me. I went into the room, and in the room there was a Macmillan nurse
Yes.
that was sat there with the hematologist. And then she brought up the scan,
Yes.
the scan
The PET
photos,
scan.
the PET scan photos, and she was showing it to me, and she said, "I'm really sorry." She said, "From my experience being a hematologist,
Yes.
this is lymphoma." And then she showed me the results of the scan, and she said, "It's spread onto your diaphragm, which
Wow.
means that you're at stage 3." I remember I looked at my friend, she looked at me, and I just stayed quiet. She said, "Have you got any questions?" And I'm like,
You were numb.
I was numb. I just didn't know what to say. I thought about my 2 children, and I'm
And
thinking,
how old were the children at this time?
that was about 4 years ago. So one was about 5, and the other one was maybe around 8, 9.
Wow.
Yeah. So
So all of this was in your head as to what I'm going to do, who's going to look after my
that's
kids.
my first thing. And I came out the room. She said, "Have you got any questions?" I said, "No, I haven't got any questions," because I was so numb. And we went out. I jumped in the car. For silly me, I don't know what. Maybe it's just the shock of it. I went in the car and I started driving. And then maybe about a few minutes coming out the hospital car park, going on the main road, I started shaking. And
Wow.
my friend was like, "You need to pull over." I pulled over and she took control of
The
the
car.
car. And I remember calling my sister who lives in the States. And I said, "Sis, the doc said I had cancer." And we were both
Yes.
screaming on the phone. We were
Mm-hmm.
just screaming on the phone in shock. And I said, "You can't tell my mom." I said, "You can't tell my mom. It would be too much for her."
Mm-hmm.
And I came in, I called a few other close friends of mine. We cried, we spoke. I called my other sister who lives here in London.
Yes.
She left work straight away. And I remember saying to her, "This is what they're saying. It's stage 3, which means I'm in the advanced stage.
Yeah, you're in
There's
the
only just
advanced
one more,
stage.
yeah,
Yeah.
just one more stage." I said, "If
You're
anything
looking. You're
happens,
looking at death.
I'm looking at death." I said, "If anything happens to my children, please ensure that you will look after them." I remember that's the conversation I had with her in the front room. We were sitting in the front room.
So having that conversation to your sister at
Yes.
that time in your living room, you were facing death. You're looking at death in front of you, and you're saying, "You know what? This is reality."
It's reality. And after, because she was there with me, I was still there and then I was fine. But then she left because she had work the next day.
Mm.
And I remember I went to bed and I had this panic attack in the middle of the night.
Yes.
I jumped from my sleep in the middle of the night,
Mm-hmm.
breathless, because I just couldn't sleep.
Wow.
All I was
Wow.
thinking about, I'm going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the 2 scariest things for me were, what's going to happen to my children
Yes.
when I go? And then the other thing is, I don't even know where I'm going.
Yes.
It was scary. I'm thinking, I'm going to die, but where am I going? What's going to happen after?
Did you say anything to your children at this point in time?
No, I did not.
And at what stage did 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 you spoke to your children? At what stage did you bring the news to them?
I spoke to them. I didn't speak to them about the cancer because I know they know what cancer was.
Yes.
I spoke to them about my illness when I was diagnosed.
Right.
They didn't know what lupus
Yes.
is like. A lot of people don't. And I sat down and I explained to them because they started seeing a little bit of things like, Mom, why is your fingers are so swollen? Why have you got that rash on your face? So I had to explain to them that I've got this illness called lupus.
And explain to the viewers what lupus is.
Lupus is it's an autoimmune disease.
Yes.
As we know, your immune system is there to protect you.
Yes.
It's there to fight against anything that's not meant to be in the body. But with lupus is your immune system gets overactive. And rather than protect you, it attacks you. So it attacks healthy tissues, healthy cells, and also in worst case scenarios, when it gets life-threatening, it attacks your organs. That's with lupus. It's a very complex disease.
And then now that you've been diagnosed with lupus, you're no longer at stage 3 because there's no stage 3 in
No,
in
there is
lupus.
no stage with lupus. Lupus is
Either mild or
severe. It could be moderate as well.
Okay, and you are
I'm mild.
You're mild.
Lucky for me, I was diagnosed early because as soon as I started getting those symptoms and I went through the process of seeing a hematologist, we'll come back to how I was told
Yes.
I was diagnosed with lupus, but I got diagnosed and straight away the hematologist said, right, after they found out it wasn't cancer, the hematologist said, right, I'm going to refer you to a rheumatologist. I think it's something autoimmune.
Okay.
And straight away I went to the rheumatologist for my first appointment. I was wearing a wig. I took my wig off.
Because at this stage you lost your hair.
I lost my hair. Yeah.
Was it bald like mine?
Well, it wasn't. No, it wasn't bald, but it was like brittle. As soon as you touch it, it would just be coming off in my hands. And eventually I just
So you didn't go through chemotherapy?
No, I did not, because what happened is, so I got those symptoms for maybe I went through that process of 6 months of being ill. Just before I was referred to the rheumatologist, the symptoms started going away.
Wow.
The symptoms started disappearing. So when I finally got diagnosed, when I had my appointment with the rheumatologist and I was sitting and explaining to her my symptoms, she was like, I know what it is. She said to me, have you ever heard of lupus? And I was like, yeah, I have, because Tony Braxton suffers with lupus.
Yes.
So I know of it through her, and I think Lady Gaga, and there were some other celebrities that Scotty. And I was like, yeah, I know lupus. And she said, I think that's what it is. However, we need to confirm. I need to do some more tests and stuff. And a month later, I went back for my appointment, and she said, yeah, it's definitely lupus.
And then after this, because hearing this, your lifestyle has now changed immensely.
So I cut my hair off because I thought it's just really bad. It needs to grow back.
Yes.
My symptoms was disappearing and the hair was starting to grow back. But I thought rather than it growing back really...
You just cut everything off and grow fresh.
Yeah, let it
so
grow fresh.
Remind the viewers and listeners who are watching. So lupus, the symptoms were severe fatigue.
Yes.
Chronic joint pains.
Yes.
And these joint pains are not just in the knees, not just in the joint, but full.
Yeah, so you get the muscle pain as well as the joint pain. So I was getting muscle pain.
What about headaches?
I wasn't getting headaches, no. Some people do. The symptoms are different in some people, but yeah.
And then you have the rashes.
I had the skin rashes all over my body. And then after, not before I found out I had the lupus, but after I was diagnosed and I started taking the medication, I had the common, what they call the butterfly rash, with most people who's got lupus got this rash across their cheeks. And I had that for a good while.
And then the hair loss.
The hair loss, yeah.
And then obviously, apart from all of that, you also have severe weight loss.
Yes, I lost weight because I had a loss of appetite. So I lost weight, and it did for a bit affected my confidence because I've lost my hair. I had really bad skin. I lost weight. So you could tell.
Were you off work at this time?
No, I wasn't off work. I was.
You were still going to work.
I was still
and you were still doing physical
And I was
activities.
still doing physical
How did
activities.
you manage? How did you get through physical activity? Because I know within the army, it's an ongoing thing whereby once you are a soldier within the British Army, it's a constant thing where you go to PT, you have training.
To be honest, I managed it. So if there were days when my joints were so bad and I couldn't do it, I wouldn't do it. But eventually I started feeling better and I was doing it. And to be honest, I wanted to still do all the things that I
Like,
used to do because it kept me going. Just having this positive attitude towards it and believing that, you know, everything happens for a reason. It kept
where
me
was
going.
God in this? Did you say, God, where are you?
At first, when she said it was cancer, I asked, I said, God, where are you? I did. I said, where are you? I've got 2 young children. And I'm thinking, my parents don't live here. I pretty much look after my children by myself.
You're young.
I'm young. I'm thinking, I'm young.
You're
Where
in
are
a
you?
good job.
I know I did. But my friend said, pray, stay positive, God will take care of you. And he did. I've always
And
known.
did you had good support system?
Yes, it's crucial that when you're diagnosed with lupus, or I would say any other or any diseases out there, you need the right people around you.
And you were diagnosed with lupus in May 2016.
May 2016, yes. I definitely, my friends, I've still got some of these friends that are still around now. They are amazing. When I was diagnosed, some of them probably didn't know what lupus was. They took their time out to read about it.
Because they want to
learn about
support
it.
you.
They want to support me so
And
they can
it's
understand.
systemic lupus.
It's systemic. Yeah.
Systemic
So you've got
lupus.
2 types. You've got discoid, which is more lupus of the skin, and then systemic, it affects all over.
All over
So
you,
I've
all
got
over
the
your body.
systemic one.
And Claudine, tell me, now that you are you have lupus, you are going through the stages, you're going through the everyday life, you know, with this disease, how does it affect your personal life? Does it affect your look on life? Does it bar you? Does it hinder you?
Honestly, I think everything happens for a reason, and God has a purpose for everyone.
Yes.
And it's being diagnosed with any illness. Some people might look at it as it's a curse. It's something that you don't want to have happen to you. I can say that since I've been diagnosed, I think God knows when he gives people certain things.
Yes.
He gives people that he knows who can fight and can fight certain battles. And I'm a fighter. I've always been a fighter. And I think one of my purpose is, God has showed me my purpose, that you can fight. And being diagnosed with lupus, you are there to empower, inspire, and motivate other sufferers. And my look at life, since I've been diagnosed, I've learned so much more about myself. It's like my career, it's meant to stop my career. Because normally when you've got like a medical condition that can be life-threatening in the army, in most cases you are medically discharged. But my career has been going from strength to strength.
And you have been promoted
I've
as
been
sergeant.
promoted to staff sergeant
And,
recently.
and tell me, does it hinders you? I mean, how did your diagnosis or your diagnosed of having systemic lupus bring you to having a much closer relationship with God?
It did, because it showed me that he's saying to me, this is your purpose. I want you to go out there and I want you to help others who are suffering. I want you to support them. I want you to tell them that they are not alone. God, let them know that he's there with them. You're there with them. And many other people who are suffering with them. And I realized that he showed me that this is my purpose. This is what I want you to do. I knew he was in the midst of it. It could have been worse.
Yes.
It could have been cancer. But he didn't make it cancer because that was not his purpose for me. His purpose for me was, I want you to get other people out there. I want you to raise the awareness, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to raise the awareness about this complex disease. The more people know about it, the more that we can get people who are diagnosed, because on average it takes about 7 years for some people for many people to be diagnosed with lupus. I was diagnosed within 6 months. So I'm trying to educate people as much as possible.
So have you been doing that at your workplace?
Yes. So when I was first diagnosed in 2017, once I started I was reading as much as possible about lupus. because I knew about it, but I needed to know more
More.
so that I was able to manage the disease.
Yes.
I started reading more, and then I found out that Lupus UK is a national registered charity for people that's in the UK that has lupus. I contacted the CEO and I introduced myself. I said, I'm Claudine Martin. I've been recently diagnosed with lupus. I wanna, I'm on a drive to raise the awareness as much as possible, and by doing so, I want to do some fundraising. And I've asked him. I said, do you mind coming to my workplace just to give a presentation to my
Yes.
colleagues about what lupus is and what the charity does?
And did they?
And they did. The CEO came down and he did a presentation to my colleagues when I was in Sandhurst. It was really good, so they can have a better understanding
Tell
of
me what it is.
what it is. And they supported me. Every year we do the London 10K in support of Lupus UK. So I've got work colleagues and friends who will come along and do it with me. This year, obviously, due to Corona, it's been cancelled.
It's been cancelled. So for those of you who are just joining and watching and logging onto my Facebook page or Amaze TV on Facebook or on the website or on YouTube or on Twitter, we are here on the Sunrise Show, and my guest in studio is Claudine Martin. She is a army soldier, an army sergeant within the British Army, and she is battling lupus. Lupus is not battling her. She is battling lupus, and she's here to bring awareness to the platform, to everyone, both locally and both nationally, about what is lupus and the symptoms that goes with lupus. She also wants you to understand that her life does not depend on the fact that she has been diagnosed with lupus, but her life depends upon God, and God has given her this platform so as to bring awareness to people and to help those who are suffering from lupus. Claudine, in 2019, you won PA of the Year with PA Life, which is a civilian PA network. Tell me more about that.
Yes, so after, because we move about in the Army every
Yes.
2-3 years, depending. So after I finished my assignment in the Royal Military Academy in Sandhurst, I went to the Ministry of Defence,
Yes.
where I got a job as a PA to the Army General for Army engagements and communications.
And that's a big position.
It's a big position because, you know, you have to be selected for it, you have to be interviewed, and then there will be other candidates that are up for the job, and I was lucky.
So when you were told that you have been shortlisted, what went through your mind?
I was over the moon.
Because this is PA to the chief general, you said?
It was because I then became the first military PA to win the award, because it's a civilian network. So it's normally for civilian PAs.
Right.
But I came there with a different attitude. I'm like, I want to learn more. I want to understand. I've been in the Army for a while, and a lot of what we do within the military. So when I went to the MOD, it's a different opportunity. I started networking with other civilians, not only just people in the Army.
Yes.
And I wanted to learn more. So I started doing networking events after work.
Yes.
And I started meeting a lot of people. I was learning a lot of things that they would say. I'll be like clueless. I haven't got a clue what they're talking about, but I was learning. And I think I was just speaking to some of the ladies, and they were like, I'm so inspired by you. Well, not even talking about the lupus. I've never even mentioned the lupus, but
Because you weren't allowing the lupus to define you.
No, I was just talking about me in general, speaking about what I do in the Army. And then I got a phone call from PLF, and they said, we do monthly magazines, and we want to feature you in our magazine as the PA profile. Do you fancy doing that? And I was like, sure. And they came to my place of work. I did a photo shoot with Uber.
Yes.
And I did an interview with the Lisa Carter at the time. And the article was published in the PA Life magazine. And I remember once I started going to other networking events, I had all sorts of people coming to me. Are you the soldier that I've seen in the magazine? Your story is so inspiring. And I thought, that's great. I'm inspired by other people.
Yes.
But it's even more, it's overwhelming to
When
know that other people
are being inspired by you.
me. Yeah,
and I'm sure a lot of persons watching right now are inspired by your story. I'm an army personnel, army sergeant within the British Army, who is suffering from lupus, is not allowing lupus to define her or define who she wants to be or where she's going, but she's beating and she's fighting this disease called lupus. Claudine, you won the PA award. How did that feel for you?
I remember Willie.
When they call your name.
When they called my name, I'm not going to lie to you. I went on the stage, I accepted the award, and I was doing my acceptance speech, but I was shaking. I was shaking because I was so shocked because the competition was like the people that were in my category are experienced PAs with a wealth of experience. They've won many other awards. So I'm just
And these individuals comprises of civilians?
Yes, they are civilians. I was the only military, and I felt like I was the underdog at the time. And winning, I was so excited. I was happy. I remember I went home and I texted the general and I said, I won. I sent him a photo. And it was all over Twitter. He posted it. It was all over Twitter. And I went back into work and I got everyone was just like, congratulations. Oh my God.
But not only that, I want the viewers and listeners to know that not only did you win PA of the Year in 2019 with PA Life, which is a civilian PA network, but also you were shortlisted for other awards, which includes Rising Star of the Year with Miss Jones and PA Rising Star with We Are the City Awards. Tell me about it.
So We Are the City, it's a huge one.
Yes.
So I did not win that one, but being shortlisted for me was
it is something, exactly.
Because that one looks for PAs across the UK. So from England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And I was shortlisted in the top 10 of PAs across the UK as a rising star, a future leader. So that's a great
a future leader suffering from lupus.
I know.
Not allowing lupus to define you.
And it doesn't, because when I network with my PAs, I don't mention about my lupus. Not that I'm hiding it, but I just think we're here on something different. I just mention about my other things that I do, and they see that as a huge achievement.
And then in the morning, because I know that sometimes with the lupus, you sometimes experience now and then joint pains.
Yes.
But you do not allow this.
I've changed my lifestyle since I've been diagnosed, so I don't drink alcohol. I've completely cut alcohol out of my diet.
Vegetarian?
I'm not vegetarian. I still eat meat, but I limit the amount of red meat that I take. My intake of red meat I've limited, but I still eat red meat.
Yes.
I exercise a lot. I do a lot of running, and I do a lot of
yoga.
Yoga is good. It relaxes the muscles and it
relaxes the mind. Yes, yes.
So I do that as well, and I try and incorporate. I take my vitamins. I drink a lot of water, and I try and incorporate a bit of herbs now and then.
Right.
But I would probably say my advice is, if you're going to take herbs, I would say speak to your rheumatologist first, because I know some rheumatologists advise against certain herbs. But I just do the plain herbs.
And who do you say to persons who are watching and who probably will watch later on, that if you find yourself in a place whereby you probably start feeling fatigue, and the fatigue has become somewhat a cause for concern and probably severe chronic joint pains, you are saying to individuals you need to go and check?
I would say if you're suffering with any form of symptoms, especially the symptoms that I've listed earlier on, don't ignore your symptoms. It's best. Early diagnosis is key, because the early you are diagnosed, the more manageable it becomes. It can be lupus. Guys, it's not a joke. You may think, okay, it's not cancer. It's not cancer, but it's just some people who have lupus, when it's severe, they also go through chemotherapy when it's really severe. Don't ever ignore your symptoms. The simple joint pain or the skin rashes or anything out of the ordinary, go and see a doctor. It can take up to 7 years to be diagnosed.
And none of your children
No. For me, I don't believe researchers, lupus is idiopathic.
Right.
So it's a stage where they think they still don't know what causes it. It's very predominant in women. I think 90% of the diagnosis worldwide is from women, which makes researchers believe that it could be the hormones. They also believe that, which I also believe this is true, that it's genetic, because there are cases where it's down in the family.
But that's what I want to touch on, because after doing my research and reading about your profile, and reading about you rather, I realized that it is not genetic. So
For
none
me,
of your
it's
family.
not genetic. I'm the first person in the family to be diagnosed with lupus, to be honest, or anything or any other disease. My maternal grandmother passed away maybe 20 odd years ago from diabetes, but that's type 2.
Yes.
You know, in the Caribbean.
Exactly, yes.
So I was the first, and that's what my sister was like, that's strange. In the family, we've never had anything. But my rheumatologist says that they believe that my lupus was triggered by a virus that it's called EBV.
And what is EBV?
Epstein-Barr virus, which is it's from the same family as the
Of
chicken
chicken pox, I
pox
could,
and
yeah.
glandular fever.
Yes.
And they said at some point 80% of the population comes into contact with that virus, but some people are asymptomatic, or some
Mm.
people will get symptoms but probably just don't know. They probably
And
just see it as a
ignored,
fever.
yeah.
When they've tested me, my blood showed that I was infected with EBV. Who knows? Could be
Could be a
childhood,
childhood,
could be
yes.
through my adulthood, but they believe that's what triggered my lupus because it's not genetic. So
Wow. And not only that, fighting lupus, living with lupus, and, having these outstanding awards and being shortlisted in, amazing categories. You was also featured in PA Life magazine where you share tips and advice of how to be a successful PA.
yes, so that's the network that I won P of the Year with. So they've asked me to do a feature in the magazine, like I
Right.
mentioned previously, and I did. And I give a bit of tips of advice if you want to be a PA, especially if you want to be a successful PA. These are some of the things that you have to do. Just know yourself. You have to know yourself in that profession. And
Yes.
once you know yourself and realize that you can test your means, you'll
And
be
you
good.
also, you also was featured in Get.com blog website after winning P of the Year, and you said your biggest achievement so far is your interview with the Jamaica Gleaner, where you shared your experiences of living with lupus and tips and advice to fellow sufferers. Tell me
Yes.
about how did you come about in terms of being featured in the Jamaica Gleaner, because I know that in order for you to be featured in Jamaica Gleaner, being the fact that I'm Jamaican, and you have to have a great story,
Yes.
and not necessarily your story will be published. But
Yes.
what happened?
So May is Lupus Awareness Month, and
Yes.
I've said before I'm on this drive to raise the awareness
Mm.
about lupus. The Gleaner is also behind raising the awareness for
Of
lupus.
lupus.
Yes, Jamaica, they realize that it's a very popular thing in Jamaica, where a
Yes.
lot of people. I don't know if you've heard of a comedian called, I think it's Elva Roddy.
Yeah, she passed away
She passed away
recently.
recently from lupus, and she was a popular
Yes.
icon in Jamaica. So a lot of the comedians and the celebrities in Jamaica have been doing a lot of awareness. So the Gleaner,
Hmm.
normally in May, they do daily stories about lupus. I was reading the Gleaner because I've subscribed to the Gleaner, and I was looking at it,
Yes.
and there was a story from this young lady called Danielle Hall.
Hmm.
She calls herself a lupus warrior. Same, I call myself a lupus warrior.
You are a warrior.
And she
Yes.
was giving talking about her experiences of
Experiences.
living with lupus and the advice. And I thought, you know what, she's like me. I'm going to
Mm.
contact the Gleaner. So I contacted the Gleaner. I told them a bit about me, give them a bit of my
Yes.
background, and I said, I know you're doing this campaign for May, for Lupus Awareness Month. I'll be happy to share my story if you feel that my story is worth sharing. And she came back to me and she said, yes, definitely. Set up an interview. I did an interview, and within a few days, the article was in the Gleaner.
How did you feel?
It was amazing because for me, it's a great sense of achievement because I feel like my mission is getting accomplished.
Get accomplished.
Because that's what I want.
And do you
I
think you
wanna-
will be going to Jamaica too?
Yes, I plan to. I've contacted Lupus Foundation of Jamaica, which is Jamaica's charity for
Yeah.
people living with lupus. And I want to do some work with them. I've already said to them, I'm happy to do whatever I can do to help them. So I'll be going to Jamaica later on in the year to do that. But since I did that article, I've had text messages from people said, can I call you on Facebook? And I was like, sure. And they started sharing their experiences of family members who have passed away from lupus and other people that they know are living with lupus. So, some people stigmatize certain illnesses
Yes.
because some people believe that if you're ill, it's a sign of a curse or
Yes.
some reason. So some people try to hide their illness. But I'm not ashamed of my story, and I'm not going to hide it.
But Claudine, I know a lot of persons are watching and listening right now. I know that I'm getting personal, if you don't mind. Can we get personal, guys? So now I know that you are a sergeant in the British Army, and you won PA for 2019, and so many awards and features. And I know that the world is your oyster,
Yes.
and I know that there's going to be a plethora of platforms for you to. There are going to be loads of stages where you're going to walk in grace and speak, and I know that you will beat this disease, lupus. Tell me something. Does lupus affect your personal, your intimate life in terms of trying to find that person? Because I know the stigma is there. Some people will look and say, no, I'm not going to date Claudine now.
The thing is, it's education.
Yes.
If somebody is educated about the illness,
Yes.
it doesn't matter. They'll like you. But I've had an instance before where I met this person, we were dating. I always tell, if I'm dating someone, I'm always open up. I
Yes.
always tell them that this is what's happening because they need to understand.
You have to be honest.
You have to be honest. And I met this person and really nice guy and stuff, and I explained to him, and he said, I'm going to be honest with you. He said, it's for me, that would be too much for me. He said,
Yeah.
I want children, and I fear that if we were supposed to be serious and then you have children, if something is supposed to happen to you by you giving me a baby, I couldn't live with myself.
Wow.
So it was hard. But to be honest,
So
he
does
hasn't stood-
lupus stop you from having...
It doesn't. It all depends on how you're affected. But a lot of
And the
women with
severity of
lupus,
your
yeah,
lupus.
the severity of the lupus. But a lot of women with lupus goes on to have miscarriages, maybe stillborns. But with research is getting better
Yes.
and better, and a lot of women now with lupus successfully goes on to have children.
Do you think there will be any children? A third child? Maybe a girl?
I've got one of each.
One of each.
Thankfully,
So
thank God.
Yes.
I've got a son and a daughter. It's not on my radar, no. It's not something.
But you're not going to say never.
But never say never.
Never,
You
exactly.
never know. I'm not married
You'll never
yet,
know.
so, yeah.
And I'm sure lupus does not put a stamp, a stop sign to say, you know what, I'm not going to go into the dating world no more. You're open.
Yeah, I'm open. And just to clear a few things, lupus is not cure. It's not a cure. It has no cure. It's not contagious either. For just to clear any misunderstanding,
Yes.
it's an autoimmune disease. It's when your body attacks your healthy tissues and cells, which can be triggered. So just to clear that, but it's manageable. Which
It's
I've- what I'm
manageable, and
doing now.
you have managed your lupus over the years.
Yeah.
And they normally say in Jamaica that every hole has their stick of bush.
Yes.
Which means, let me clarify, say it doesn't matter your circumstances in life, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter your frailties, it doesn't matter your capabilities, or it doesn't matter your failures. There is someone out there for you. There's someone
Yeah,
who
I
is
believe in
standing, waiting for you. The person has not reached us yet. Probably the person is around the corner.
Probably around the corner. You never know.
You'll never know. You'll never know. But and I'm sure you're looking forward. You're not dating, and this is not to say, guys, for those of you who are watching, that she's available. You have to come through me. But for those of you who are watching and joining, this is the Sunrise Show, and here is my guest, Claudine Martin. She is a Army sergeant within the British Army. She is, I don't want to say suffering, but she is living with lupus. And lupus, her philosophy, her motto is, lupus does not define who she is, and it will not overpower or control her, but she will stand resolute in the face of lupus and fight lupus at all costs. Claudine, they said that when you're doing things, and when you're getting excited and you're enjoying something, time flies. And we're getting down to the end of the show. But tell me, what are some of the advices that you want to share or give to persons who are listening, who probably going through illnesses or ailments, or feeling some sort of feeling within their body that is questionable, and they don't know what is going on, or they've been going through, they're probably living with lupus or cancer or HIV or diabetes. What sort of advice would you want to give to those persons, especially for those who are probably living with lupus?
I've got a few. My first one, I always say, pray, 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 pray. You have to have a prayer life. God is everywhere. God is for everyone. For him, he's my healer. He's my doctor. He's my counselor. He's everything. So even if I'm in a corner and I feel like I don't have, I've got a good support system.
Yeah.
But I always turn to him first. You need to have a prayer life. You need to believe. You need to trust in God. And that would be my first advice to anyone. My second one is, you need the right people around you. You need the right people. And you might say, well, how do I know if they're the right people? Go back to what I said before. You need to pray.
Yes.
God always reveals who the right people are. Don't be surprised that when you pray,
Yes.
to ensure you have the right people around you, you will be surprised to see the people that you will lose. It will sometimes be family.
Yes.
It sometimes will be close friends. But don't worry about it. Trust the process. Trust God. The right people is meant to be in your life. When your purpose has been revealed to you and you're on a journey, some people are just not meant to be on that journey.
Yes.
Don't worry about it if you start losing friends. The third thing I would say is join support groups. Support groups, I would say, are good.
Yes.
It depends on where you live in London or where you live in the UK. I know South London's got a support group in St.
Or
George's
wherever
Hospital.
you are in the world,
Wherever you
yeah.
are, wherever you're in the world. Jamaica has it. Wherever you are, join a support group because you will meet people like you who are also suffering,
Yes.
and they might have a different strategy for coping,
Yes.
but that you may not know about, but they will be able to tell you their strategy, share each other coping strategies,
Yes.
and you can benefit off each other. So I think it's good to join support groups because you learn more about your illness as well, because
Yes.
you will have professionals who will come and speak to you at those support groups, so you learn more. The other thing I'll say as well, take care of yourself, look after yourself. Your body is more important. The better you look after your body,
Yes.
is the more you'll be able to manage it as well. I'm not saying, I know for some people that their lupus is so severe
Yes.
that it would be hard for them to probably go out and run and sometimes do exercises. But whatever you can do, just try as much as possible. Even if you have to just do a yoga, just to stretch those muscles.
Yes.
Try and exercise. Try and have a balanced diet as well. I would say try and cut out processed foods.
Processed foods.
Certain things that you know that are bad
Fast
for you.
food.
Fast foods, fatty
Yes.
foods. I still now and then have pizza or a burger.
Yes.
Well, I don't
Yes.
delve on it so much, but I do have that.
And you spoke about having the right support and the right people within your circle.
Yes.
When you're going through whatever you're going through, I'm sure there is a large amount of people who have been standing by you,
Yes.
and who have been with you from the very day in 2016 May when you were diagnosed with
Yeah.
lupus. I know that the time wouldn't be convenient right now to actually give it the platform to say list all the name, but who are some of the key persons who you want to say probably named out if they're watching,
Yes.
to say
She's probably
thank you.
at work now, but Nikisha, my best friend,
Nikisha Blair.
Yes.
Yes.
She's been an integral part of
Yeah,
my
she is.
diagnosis.
She's definitely
very.
And she's our
supportive.
friend.
And she's our friend. Yeah. She's very supportive. My sisters.
Yes.
Tennille, Camille, Carla. My brothers, my mother as well, has been a huge support. Shanna Kay, I don't know if
Yes.
she's watching now. Venice, Shelley, and a lot of them. You've got Billy, Jermaine, Gail. There's so many
Lots
them.
of you, all of
I
you.
can't name anyone off, but I've got friends who will just always support me no
Yes.
matter what. Who are always behind and always. Marco as well. Sorry, Marco, I haven't forgotten you.
Yeah. And for those of you who she hasn't called your name, she's saying thank you.
Thank you to everyone. Thank you so much. Angelique, I haven't forgotten you.
And what about I'm sure you're here and I know you're going back to work because she's all dressed up. She's gonna take off all this and put on her army clothing and get in the office. But I'm sure your managers probably are watching and they've given you the opportunity to be here. What do you want to say to them?
You know what? My boss is very supportive.
Yes.
He understands. When this whole corona thing.
Yes.
He first said, when the Boris Johnson said, "Oh, people can start going back to work," he said, "You don't have to if you don't want to. If you're happy to stay home, you're happy to stay home." They are very supportive. They
Yes.
understand.
But why do you venture out and go when you have given the opportunity? A lot of us would want to stay home and
No, the
stay
only
in bed.
reason, it's not like permanent. It's just temporary. There's
Yes.
a big meeting that we've got tomorrow, and I've got to be there just to set up and stuff
Set
like
up.
that. So yeah, it's just temporary.
I just want to say to Claudine, and I want to ask Claudine, what is your final word to everyone who is watching right now who is probably on the verge of giving up because they're fighting a battle, they're fighting some sort of disease, some ailments, and it may not very well be ailments. What would you like to say to these people who felt or feel like their back is against the wall, they want to give up, they can't take life anymore, they can't do this anymore? What do you want to say to them?
I just want to say to you, stay strong. You are not alone. I'm here, right here, speaking about it because I'm also battling, and there are many other people out there are battling. Pray. Once you have a good prayer life, like I've mentioned before, you keep praying. If you feel like there's no one there, I know God
Yes.
is. God is always there.
Yes.
You can't, I think I've mentioned this previously, you can't stop people from talking as well.
Yes.
You know, the devil is there. Just as all God is there, the devil is there as well.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you will have people who maybe you are your enemies
Yes.
that will see this as an advantage
Yes.
to say things about you. But it doesn't
Mhm.
matter what they say, just rise above it. I've had stuff like people say to me, go and sort out your half-dead lupus body. You're going to die before you're 50. You look
Yes.
like a sick person. Go and sort yourself out. To be honest, it doesn't faze me. It doesn't faze me. I'm still going to keep trying. I'm still going to fight in. I'm still going to fight for people who probably can't fight for themselves because
Yes.
some are so
Yes.
ill. So my advice is anyone who is out there, whether it's lupus, cancer, whatever you're suffering with, always remember that God is always there. He's always there. Just stay strong, stay positive, and don't let it fight you. You fight it. And that's my key message to everyone today.
And also, Claudine, what I know that you are on a campaign. You're doing this campaign. Tell us more before we go about this campaign.
Right. I want to get out there. One of my aspirations is I want to be an inspirational / motivational speaker.
Yes.
I've been working towards it, reading books, getting a bit of tips, because when I get on that stage, I want to own that
Yes.
stage.
Mm-hmm.
I've been praying to God as well, just to guide me, because whatever you're doing, you need
Yes.
God on your
Yes.
journey.
Yes.
You need
Yes.
Him.
Yes.
Can't do it without Him.
Yes.
And I would say, guys, just keep looking out for me. I'm on YouTube now. I've got my own YouTube page. So if you type in Claudine Martin, just follow me on YouTube. Follow my journey. I'm there to inspire and empower people. I want people to have the faith that I've got. I want people to feel that strength that I've got. I want you to, not saying be me,
Yes.
but I want you to be you, but apply a bit of the techniques that I use so you can stay positive and stay strong.
And if person watching and listening and want to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you?
I'm on Facebook, Claudine Martin. I'm also on Instagram, and I'm also on YouTube.
And if you want to get in touch with her, you need to just call me. I'm her manager for today, so anyone want to reach out to her for any speaking engagement to spread the awareness of lupus, feel free to inbox me. Or as Claudine says, she is on YouTube, she's on Facebook and Instagram, Claudine Martin, and you just need to reach out to her. If you need to speak to her on a personal level, feel free to do so. She's very approachable, she's very warm, she's very friendly, and guess what? She always have a word of encouragement. She always have a word of advice, solid advice. I can remember since week when we spoke, one advice she gave me was that, Marvin, not everyone that comes in your life are meant to stay. There is a season. She also made mention, and it kept resonating in my mind. You said that there are friends who you lose, and they may be hurting because they lost.
Don't have the privilege of
they don't have the privilege of you. So I'm going to say to you, it doesn't matter what you're going through today. Looked at Claudine's Martin story. She's still living with lupus, but despite the fact that she has been diagnosed 4 years ago, she's fighting, she's still working, she is still fulfilling her dreams. What is it you are thinking about in terms of where you go from now?
Right. I'm still gonna go on my campaign. I'm still going to do my YouTube message. I'm going to get my messages out there with the intent of that I'm on a global stage and I'm speaking inspirationally to people. And in the next few years, my plan is to set up my own lupus foundation.
Wow. Yeah. And any plans of the army? What about the army?
I'll continue with my career. I've
still got major?
Well, not major. Well, I've just been selected for staff sergeant, so maybe 3-4 years time. Potentially, I could be a warrant officer. So I plan to finish my time in the army.
And what is normally the time in the army?
22 or 24. So I'm on a 24-year contract. So technically, I've got about 10 years left.
10.
But I'm starting my degree in October.
Yes. And your degree will be in
human resource.
In human resource.
So
and why human resource?
Because that's what I currently do.
That you're currently doing. Yeah. And one of the things with Claudine story is that despite the fact that she's living with lupus, she's still deployable. So if you are wondering, does she still go to war? Can she still, hold that big rifle in her hand, she can. She still. Because why? It is about staying positive and having a positive outlook on life. And she decided not to allow her diagnosis of lupus to define, and I keep on saying that, define her. Why am I saying it? Right here on the Sunrise Show, it is a show to encourage everyone, you who are watching, to let you know that it doesn't matter what you're going through. Do not allow whatever you're faced with to define who you are. Look on whatever you're facing or going through, look it into the face and fulfill your purpose and dream. Do not let nothing stop or hinder you from reaching your journey or your point of success. Claudine Martin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Guys, thank you for watching. Trust and hope that you have learned. But before we go, I just have a little either or, my little fun game with my guests. And right now, over to you, Claudine. Cake or donuts?
Cake.
Vanilla or chocolate?
Vanilla, definitely.
Ice cream or sorbet?
Ice cream.
Pork or chicken?
Chicken.
Well done or rare?
Well done.
Salad or squash?
Salad.
Green beans or broccoli?
Broccoli.
Black beans or kidney beans?
Kidney beans.
Frozen veggies or canned?
Frozen.
And now this is going to really be eaten or hot. Donald Trump or Boris Johnson?
Boris.
Or Boris. Hillary Clinton or Theresa May?
Hillary.
Is it?
Yes. I mean, Windrush.
With no. And before two more. What about Meghan or Kate?
Definitely Meghan.
Okay, Harry or William? No, guys, before I go, I just want to, share with you Okay. Thank you very much to the technical team. I have to be listening and hearing them. But guys, I just want to pause here right now because I think it's very important and it is a very crucial moment where considering the fact that we are spreading awareness about lupus and having Claudine Martin here in studio on the Sunrise set, I want to introduce to you Amaze TV, along with friends and families of Amaze TV. We are starting a campaign that is entitled Show Love, Give Love. It's a campaign where we are reaching out, not just Amaze TV, but as I said, the Amaze family, where we're, spreading the love to everyone, to both on a local level and an international level, where we are trying to raise funds to help the less fortunate, the needy, those who are in need. So I'm going to ask you as we play this video, I want you, whatever you can, even if it is £1, the details will be shown on the screen. And if you want to donate, feel free to do so. As I said, it's all about give love, show love. Watch.
Amaze TV is here to restore, rebuild, revive the nation.
We can never appreciate the hardship that creates a feeling of having nothing, but we can create the change that makes a difference. Join us, and together we can have an impact.
It's time for us to change the narrative and extend our humanity to the entire world.
Love is kind. It is not self-seeking. Let us extend our love and kindness in the best possible way we can.
Freely you have received the love of God. Freely give back to society. Extend a blessing to someone out there.
One can chase 1,000, but two can chase 10,000.
We believe in our communities and we believe in our youths. Let's work together and make a difference.
Our world needs you to be a part of a revolutionary change.
United we stand, divided we fall.
Give love.
Show love.
Hashtag give love, show love.
So there you have it, everyone. The Give Love, Show Love campaign. And as of from today, thereon, on every show here on Amaze TV, we'll be sensitizing and showcasing the Give Love, Show Love campaign. And there will be information on screen where you can donate whatever you want to donate to this campaign. As you know, the last saying says, united we stand, divided we fall. Let us all spread love. Let us all show love. Let us all give love during this time of pandemic. There are persons out there that are in need, in wants, and so this is what the Amaze TV platform is here to do, and we're trying to do so with this campaign. So I'm asking you, please, kindly, from your heart, give love, show love. This is Marvin Fishley here on Amaze TV on the Sunrise Talk Show with my host today, Claudine Martin. Thank you, Claudine.
Thank you.
And again, remember, give love, show love. And as you continue throughout the rest of the week, I want you who are watching to start giving love and show love. Have a good day. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.